Hello, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this finds you well. This is the card you're making. Isn't it cute? It's this lovely little turtle come to say thank you with all these flowers. And I love building a scene with my stamps and dies. It's just such fun and I'm so happy with the way this card turned out. I've used a mixture here of pattern paper, stamps, dies, colouring, all sorts. So the stamp set we're going to be using is this one, and it's called Playing in the Rain. And you can see we're using the little turtle and we're using the clouds, but you could also use these other images. They're just darling. I'm so pleased the set has decided to carry over from last year's catalogue into this year's catalogue, because I would have been sorry to say goodbye to it. So now we're going to stamp using Memento Tuxedo Black, and we're just stamping a little image here. There we go. Just in the corner there, and then we're just going to give that a little clean up using the simple chamois. I'm a great believer in cleaning up as you go along. Saves an awful amount of hardship later on when you stick something in on top of your stamp or cause a problem. So now we're just going to stamp our clouds, and the reason I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black is that I want to colour in later using the Stamp and Blend alcohol markers, and Memento Tuxedo Black is an alcohol marker friendly ink. It won't run. Okay, so we're going to stamp our little flowers now, and we're going to stamp these a few times. So just making sure I've got some space here on my scrap piece of basic white, trying to use up all of my area, not waste anything because it's all good paper. So there's one, and then there's my third flower. Clean up, put that there. I usually put my stamps on top of my case like that until I put everything away, and that way they don't go walkies or get lost. Now I'm going to use a thank you here from the stamp set called Timeless Arrangement. And this set actually is retiring now. I'll be sad to see it go, but I've used it a ton of times. It's been very useful. So if you like this set and you want it, and it's still available, it'll be linked below in the description box as part of the supply list. So do hop on and get that before it retires and forever gone. Okay, so that's all our stamping done. So now we are ready to do some colouring. So as I said, we're going to colour in using the Stamp and Blend alcohol markers, and you can see here that I've speeded up my colouring. Now all the supplies I used will be linked below, listed and linked below in the description box. Here I'm using a mixture of Old Olive to colour in my turtle, and I tend to go with my darker colour first, as you can see, and then highlight with my lighter, and then go and blend out with my lighter colour. It just depends. Sometimes I go the other way around. It just really depends how I'm feeling, what I'm colouring, what I do. And here you can see I have started with my darker and then gone in and blended everything out with my lighter. And then if I feel it needs it, I might go in again and add some more detail. And then I'm just colouring in the flowers here. And they're coloured in using Melon Mambo, one of my favourite all-time pinks. And I'm just colouring them all in, and this is with the lighter colour, and I'm tending to do everything that I have to do in one colour first. And now you can see here I am going with the darker colour and just adding very small little highlights, because they're such tiny flowers anyway. Now I'm just adding the bit of green to the leaves, and then a little bit from the darker colour, just a few dots here and there to give some sort of highlight. And I'm just showing here the dies that I've used to cut this out, and they're the Timeless Arrangement dies for the thank you, and the Playing in the Rain dies for the other images. Now here I've got some lovely designer series paper, and this is the Bright and Beautiful, and this is just a normal standard mat, as I call it. It's 14.35 centimeters by 10, and your card base also is Melon Mambo, and it's a standard A6 card base. That's an A4 sheet cut in half and then fold in half. And then I've got a piece here of Old Olive cardstock that I've cut on a slope using the basic border dies, and that's going to be my grass. Now here I've got a piece of basic white cardstock for my insert. Now all the measurements will be on the blog post on my website, and you can find that link to that in the description box below. So now we are going to do a little bit of inking, and this is the other side of the piece I cut, and I'm just using it as a mask here, and I'm going to just be inking at the top here just to give a little bit of extra detail. And I should have maybe done this before I stuck my piece down, but it's not the end of the world. I'm just going to use the base here, and just so I don't get ink all over the place, making sure, and I'm just giving it an ink up, and this just means it's not so flat. There's more variation in colour, more interest. Now I'm going through all of my pieces that I've cut out, and I did cut out some pieces just from the die set, and they just cut out these images. They're not stamped, but they're just die cuts, and I'm just going through and sorting those out because we're going to add some inking to all of those pieces. So here are some grass pieces, and I'm just adding a little bit of darker colour at the base of each piece of grass. Whoops, one's trying to run away from me. And now I'm bringing in some pecan pie, and I'm going to use this now for my bridge here, and again I'm just adding some colour towards the base. It just makes it look less flat. And then here I'm adding, this is some early espresso for the tree stump, and again I'm just inking the base of the early espresso. I know it looks grey, almost black on the camera, but trust me, it's a dark brown. And then for my little turtles, what do you call this thing, bow tie, I'm just putting a little bit of Melon Bamboo ink on. Now I'm going to stick everything down, and I'm just using my tweezers to try and help me, and I'm just going to use some Tombow and try and be as light-handed as you can with your Tombow. You don't really want the glue splodging out any more than as possible. And I'm just going to lay that down there. There's a little bridge across the stream that you can't see, and then I'm going to decide where I want to put my tree stump, right around there, and then I'm going to pop up my little turtle on dimensionals. So I'm just going to cover the back of him with some dimensionals, and you should know by now that I'm very generous with my adhesive. I don't want anything coming apart, and more with my dimensional adhesive, if it's going through the post, I don't want anything to be squished where there's no dimensionals, as it's going through the sorting machines or whatever. So I tend to be quite generous with my dimension. Okay, so there is our little turtle, and isn't he cute? I love him, so sweet, with his little flower there. Now you can see here I've got a little bit of glue. I'll just rub it away, and then I'm going to put my other piece of grass down. I'm just going to decide where I want them to go, and then I think I'll have another one on that side. There we go. And last but not least, let's have one up by the bridge. Now I'm going to use my flowers to decorate, and I'm going to have some of these popped up, and I'm going to have some of these just lying flat. Now's a good time to say, if you are enjoying this video, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know, and please do consider subscribing to future videos. It really does help any content makers videos become more visible on YouTube. It will be a huge help, so thank you. Okay, so we're going to put our thank you sentiment down, and I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do. I think first I'm going to put his little bow tie down. There we go. Isn't that just cute? I love those kind of details. And now I'm adding a little bit of dimension to my thank you. There we go, 3 dimensionals there. I'm just going to tuck this behind. Sometimes you might need to pull things up. You can see I want to get it behind there so you don't have that funny space before the start of the sentiment. So I'm just faffing about a bit. There we go. Right, now time to put down our clouds. And you can see here I've got some clouds that I just die cut and didn't stamp, and I decided I really wanted them to be stamped. It matches the rest of the card. Okay, there we go. And then we have some finishing touches, and these are the 23 to 25 in colour dots. They're actually retiring as well, unfortunately, but I'm just using, you can use any embellishments. There's lots of adhesive backed embellishments in the catalogue, so if you can't get hold of these, you could use rhinestones, all sorts. And I'm just scattering these about all over the background of my card. You can see one or two are fighting me, and let's put a few choosing word in the end, going with my fingers. Sometimes fingers are the best policy, cheapest and the easiest. Okay, one more over there, and I think we are done with our embellishments. And there are our two cards. Aren't they cute? I'm so happy with how they turned out. I hope you like them too. So thank you for watching today, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.